And we're live. Welcome to the Rican show. And today I am happy to have the women of Luca. And there's supposed to be five, but one is either running late or she may not be able to make it. Melinda will let everybody know about that. And so, like I said, I'll let all you ladies introduce yourselves. Let's start with Casey, and then we'll work around the screen.
Hi, I'm Cassie. I am the event director for LUCA.
Melinda.
Hi, I'm Melinda Ann. I am the National Executive Director for LUCA. This is a project that we started as Carlos and I were talking a couple of years ago. This has been an organization that I've been working on closely with our CEO, and it is coming to fruition. We have got some amazing people on our team now. And I couldn't be more proud to see this organization come together in Texas. We are now in New Mexico. We are going to be spreading across California, Arizona, Nevada soon. And LUCA, Latinos United for Conservative Action. So we're an organization that is doing just that. The action is what's important within our community. So I'm excited for everybody to learn more about us. And I just want to thank you for having us on. You and I have done many shows together. So thank you for having us on again. I know you've been trying to catch up and keep up with what we're doing. And so I'm really proud to stand next to these beautiful ladies with me. And yes, we are supposed to have Italia. She is and I'll go ahead and introduce her. She is our community outreach director. And these ladies, other than my sis Audrey here, they are in the North Texas part, Dallas, Fort Worth. And so she's supposed to be on the show, but what we have going on is Fort Worth is in trouble right now, guys. Fort Worth is our one last standing conservative big city in the state of Texas that is conservative. And let me tell you how the liberals are coming after this city. They are really, our team has been working really hard out there. So what she's doing there, they happen to have a live Zoom meeting. She's going to try to make it regarding the sex ed education that's going to be implemented in Fort Worth. So they've already fought a curriculum there that consists of removing the words female and male from the curriculum with the intent to confuse children. So, so she's there to make sure that it isn't something that they're trying to bring back, because our team has already showed up and fought against the Fort Worth school district on removing some books that were very sexually explicit. Cassie was one of them. Italia was there. And guys, they were very successful. They shut down the libraries and they started to do an audit. They removed the books. Sadly, that was met with some rebellion, and they had a counter protest, and they did another one, and Cassie and everybody showed up again because there's people out there that want to keep these books. They just don't think it's that we have the right to have them removed. But they were very disgusting books, very sexually explicit. So we were happy to be a part of that push. But guys, we're really clawing out there in Fort Worth and trying to keep that as conservative as we can. They're really coming after it.
And Audrey, you were talking about New Mexico, so I'll let Audrey introduce herself.
Hi, everybody. Audrey Trujillo from New Mexico. I am the executive director for LUCA here in New Mexico, and I'm partnering here with my sister to just bring awareness and bring together a coalition here as well, and get people to get involved and understand what things are happening and how awful it's going to get if we don't get involved. Right now, the most recent thing that's on our plate here in New Mexico is there's been a huge fight, I guess, on the Hispanic culture. They've been tearing down monuments in Santa Fe, which is our capital here in New Mexico, and up in Espanola, which is a little northern area, a little town up in northern part of New Mexico. And tomorrow we are actually Thursday. Sorry, I don't even know what day it is today. We've been so busy. But Thursday we're going to be going up to Espanola, where they're going to be putting up the Oñate statue back up. It's going to be placed by the sheriff's department. They tore it down about, I think it's been about 10 years ago, and just pulled it down and took it. It was just, it's been happening all around Santa Fe and as well as in Espanola. So we're going to see it be placed back up. And I'm excited to see that because this is a tradition and culture that we have in New Mexico and history, that even if our history isn't great, in all aspects, it is our history and they want to bury it away. And I think LUCA and this organization, that's something that we feel strongly keeping our culture and our traditions alive, as well as making sure that, things are constitutional in our states.
Yeah,
So that's what
we
we're
can
doing
get
right now.
into what's happened in New Mexico recently.
Yes. We
Uh,
also have a crazy governor that's been, messing with our Second Amendment rights. She's been on national news, looking like a complete idiot, because she thinks that our Constitution, not only the United States Constitution, but our New Mexico Constitution is obsolete, which it's not. So we're fighting back. We have a lot of patriots here in New Mexico. We all can come together and unite and make sure that she does not interfere with our Constitution, especially when it comes to our Second Amendment rights. But yeah, you plug in Michelle Grisham, Lujan Grisham, and she'll pop up and you'll see the commercial she has out there, or not commercial. It's become a commercial, but she's incredibly tyrannical. We're just dealing with a major tyrannical regime here in New Mexico, sadly.
Oh yeah, we'll get into that because I'm a big 2A person, so she's on my shit list.
Oh yeah,
I, it's
the long list
Talia,
for
she
sure.
came on. She said, "Hi, Patriots."
Yeah,
I
that's
guess
our sis. That's our Italia right there. Hi, sis. Not sure if you're going to be able to make it on. We'd love to have you if you're not driving, or if you can come log on with us. That's her.
Mhm. And Christina.
Hi,
Yeah.
my name is Christina Miria, and I'm the community outreach here in Dallas. So I did a presentation last week at in the Richardson ISD district to the school board. So that was pretty intense. Read out the book, said everything sexually explicit on there, embarrassingly, but I did it, and
Yeah, I tried. It was funny. My wife rented one time. She borrowed from the library Genderqueer, and she read it, and I couldn't bring myself to read it. I tried. Like it's just gross.
I was shaking in my boots. I was so embarrassed, and I yeah, I did it, but
Yeah.
yeah,
But you know
and
what? It needs to
they
be read. They need to hear what the words are in these books, because if you're not allowed to say it at a school board meeting, then how the hell are we allowing this to be in public schools? It's one thing to be
Exactly.
right.
in a public library, and it's another thing to be in a public school.
Well, I had to say before doing that, after Luca put out there on Facebook, you know, go to the Richardson ISD school board meeting about these books, and after my presentation, the book went down.
Mhm.
The admin approached me and said that they no longer have the book there. I said, well, you do have it there. I printed off from your Richardson ISD library catalog on, live, and it was there as of September 18th. And she said, well, let me check. So it wasn't there, as other parents checked as well as I did, and it wasn't there. So another parent recommended me to go to the Freedom Act and ask, why did they put it down? Why did they put it down? Where is it? Just because it's not on the RSD catalog library doesn't mean that it's still, you know, letting the children look at it, or students look at it, or teenagers look at it. So
Yeah, I mean that's why you have, it's funny they make this a gay straight thing, and it's like meanwhile you have gay people fighting against this.
Right.
Here's
And the book.
you know
Sorry.
here's a person, Macy. She's one of my followers. She's a lesbian, and she put here she didn't like the book. The genderqueer book scared me, and she thinks that she doesn't think those disgusting books should be in school.
No,
Well,
absolutely.
the book I was reading was called Killing with Scissors, and it was a pedophilia book. It was
Oh
about
my gosh.
yes, it was about I say this right. It was a 14-year-old boy that was coming out supposedly, and was
Uh-huh.
being so-called molested by the mother's boyfriend, that's a psychiatrist, 33-year-old adopted son. It didn't even make sense, but
But it
that's what it
sounds
was.
like the guy who it sounds like was it Marcusa, that he's the gender theory, the inventor of gender theory.
Yeah.
I mean, he did some sick stuff. If you that's the crazy thing. If you look at what he did, I think he the one who he took like a set of brothers and he raised them to be they were boys and he raised them to be girls because he wanted to show um
I mean, why are these books even there? I mean, I just don't understand it. I just don't understand why they feel the need. I mean, and it's obvious there is an agenda. They are literally coming after this generation of kids. And so, I mean, right now, what Luca has really been hardcore about is protecting our children. And so we have been in the schools. And as a matter of fact, so, I'm from New Mexico, born and raised in New Mexico. So to be able to bring my sister Audrey on, she's a strong patriot out there. She ran for Secretary of State. We just went to New Mexico. We just got home yesterday. We were there for the weekend getting our team set up out there. And there are some amazing patriots that are ready to come on and fight in New Mexico. And they're what they're trying to do. I sent it to you, sis, what they're trying to do in California. And sis, and they're already trying to the schools. Hey, they're trying to make it to where the children don't have to have their parents involved in their lives if they don't want to, to change their gender, to do all these things. They're really trying to remove the
They
parents.
passed it through the last
They did.
legislation, HB 7,
Mhm.
and
did you
that
see that
takes away the rights of the parents in the schools to be
Newsom
able to know what's going on. If the child goes to the counselor, to somebody there or a teacher, and tells them that they feel like they're a transgender or they want to get an abortion, all these things they will not share unless the child or the child tells them to share it with their parents. They will not share
did you
it.
see Newsom vetoed it? You're talking about the
Not here
law
in New
that
Mexico.
oh, you talking about New
They
Mexico?
passed it full
Oh.
colors.
Oh
Yeah.
wow! So what? That's
It
funny.
got
Because
passed.
in California, it got Newsom vetoed it, which tells
Mhm.
me he's did that because he's running. He wants to run for president.
Right.
Because if he didn't veto that, he couldn't run. If he would have signed that into legislation, they would have killed him for it.
Mhm. Probably.
Because
Yeah, I don't. Our
mainstream.
governor is not up for re-election. She just got elected, so
Herself.
she's not worried. She's passing and signing
Well, she
things
knows she
that
can't get impeached. She needs to get
right.
impeached.
We have no impeachment here. Well, we have an impeachment, but we have a Democrat legislature,
Yeah, I know.
dominant, so they're not going to get her out.
No, that's what I'm saying. I mean, she really should be impeached. She's breaking, not
Mhm.
only, federal law, but she's breaking, New Mexico law.
Well, yeah.
Because
Well,
every state
she should be
constitution,
arrested.
Plain and
Yeah.
Our
simple. Like,
sheriff
you don't
should be there
understand why she
arresting
isn't
her.
arrested. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
sheriff should.
Well, that's what I was
Mhm.
telling them when we were there. It's like, where's the attorney general? That's his job. I mean, we know that the FBI
Yeah.
have her arrested. But this is Biden's FBI. And so we need FBI that are in other places that are really ready to uphold their oath to make sure that the Constitution is being upheld
Yeah.
and do something, because this is absolutely disgusting. And, my sister and I, all the work that we've done in New Mexico, we share with everybody. New Mexico is the social experiment state for the rest of the
Mhm.
country, whatever, they're trying to do. So imagine if we could put a stop to that, then a lot of the things wouldn't creep out into the rest of the country. because we are the social experiment state. This is where everything happens before it starts going across
Or
it.
they hide everything here. We had Epstein Ranch here in Stanley, New Mexico.
And nobody knew.
Mm-mm.
Well, that's why I say I think
So-
this. The importance of this organization is the fact that Latinos need to wake up to the fact that we're not default.
We're not asleep anymore.
Oh, wait.
There she is.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
How are y'all doing?
Hi.
Our
we're-
sis.
I'm Italia. Sorry. I just left another Zoom. But I'm Italia. I'm the outreach director here in North Texas. So it's awesome to be here with you guys.
Oh,
Oh, nice to have you.
our little,
We're-
she's a, she, I'm telling you, our North Texas, they're fighters.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's why I have a quick question from a personal perspective, because you're saying that Fort Worth is like the last red area in DFW, but when I just lived there 4 or 5 years ago, Collin County was still solid red. Am I like, Plano, McKinney, they were all red when I lived there. Has it changed?
I would say I hate to say this, but I would definitely say, after seeing whatever the things that have happened within the past, I don't know, 2 years ago, I would say it's purple now.
Purple.
We're on the verge.
Really?
We're on the verge of losing just the red. So
Wow.
yes,
Well,
it's
since
very
Biden's
purple.
been in office, look at how he's empowered, at a local level, all the way up to the governorship in each state. He is really empowered for them to push. I mean, we see it. We see it across the nation. It's not, and where they're protected, and so we're watching in all of our cities, and that they're really pushing hard this liberalism, the transgenderism. LUCA is the one that stopped at the Six Flags in Texas. We wrote them a very staunch letter, demanding that they move transgender shows, because they were just outside in the open, and that's a big job of Italia. Round of applause to our sister there. She, and so Tony and I quickly got a letter written up, and we sent it out to them and saying, hey, this is unacceptable. We entrust our children. Then we drop them off at Six Flags over Texas in the summer, and it was just right. This was right around the summertime, and so we're like, well, we can't tell you what to do, but look, put it indoors. Put a sign, we're 18 and over, because there were like 5-year-olds just walking around, and they can see these trans shows right in front of them, and they did. They took it indoors, and we were really proud to see that really nobody went inside at all. So it was real empty. So that, so that's the work that LUCA does. And so we're really proud of our North Texas team. I cannot tell you how they are really out here clawing and fighting. And we're, like everybody says, if Texas goes, there goes the nation. And so we're going to be moving into San Antonio, to Houston, into Austin. So any of you guys out there in those areas of Texas, get a hold of us, because we are going to be, I've got somebody in El Paso now that's getting ready to come on board, so that we can
don't forget the East Coast. Don't forget the East Coast.
You know what? So we are, amigo. So right now we're moving swiftly on the border states, right? Because look at our
definitely it's needed in
Texas,
the border
New
states.
Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, and California. We're Tony, our CEO, just flew into California. He's there now, and I'll be there Thursday. And we're going to be meeting with a couple of ladies that are probably going to be our state executive directors out there. So we're ready to get into California, and I've got people in mind for Nevada and Arizona. The moment we get to a certain stage, we will be going gung-ho across the nation. So stay tuned for that. But right now we're really working on our border states, because man, do we have a lot of work to do here.
Well, no, I know you have, was it Italia, Christina, and Cassie are all in the North Texas team.
Yes.
Right?
Mhm.
I think
Yes,
Cassie and Christina are in Richardson. I don't know where Italia is.
I'm in Fort Worth
Okay.
area. Mhm.
Okay.
And I'm in Keller, the Keller area.
Okay. I know Keller. I have, like I said, I lived in McKinney for 5 years, and I lived in Plano for a year.
Oh,
So I'm very familiar with North
Well,
Texas.
and our Texas our Texas executive director, Mario Delgadillo, he's in the Frisco Plano area. So, we've got it covered. And not to mention, guys, we have leadership underneath our wonderful directors here. They are coordinators. So they're from Tyler, Texas. We are really spreading east in Texas. We also have Grapevine. We have our education directors that they're not on. But we also have our education directors as well. So we're doing that. And then we're still in search. LUCA is going to have a faith director, which is what's most important within our organization, is that we ensure that everything that we do, we have God at the forefront, with our biblical beliefs as we take this fight on, because we know, guys, it's not a red versus blue. It is a evil versus good. This is a spiritual battle like no other. We're really also concentrating on, are we bringing people to the Lord, right? Are we bringing them to God, and are we spreading God's word, and are we doing God's work? And so that's what we are really, really happy that, this is what this organization is about. And we just have an amazing team. And I just love all of you. I mean, it's just so wonderful.
Well, like I said, I think it's very important what you guys are doing. I think there, we talked offline. There's organizations like Lexit that, they started, but they kind of fizzled out. It was more about the election than it was about getting actually stuff done. And I think that's what's the beauty of your organization is. It looks like you guys are there trying to hit the ground, because forget about the elections. I mean, elections, it'll seep into the elections once you start, waking up Latinos to the fact that, when we don't have to be blue, we don't have to be Democrats. Our values don't always align with the Democrat Party. We just taught from an early age that it is. But especially now, like the Democrats are, they're not you just talked about, about doing God's work. The Democrats, when do you hear them preaching it? I mean, when do you hear them talking about God anymore? They'll mock you if you talk about God.
Yeah, they do.
And that's why I don't understand is where, these Latinos that vote, Democrat blindly, which, I mean, I got members of my family. My mom voted Eric Adams in New York City, and when she could, because she's like, oh, I couldn't vote for the person that she said she was going to vote for, turned out to be a Republican. She liked everything he talked about, but ended up voting for the Democrat.
Yeah.
And I think that's crucial to let all the Latinos know it's okay to change. Don't see it as, oh, I failed my family, because some of these people, myself included, we were taught, oh, Democrats work for the poor, and Republicans work for and we have to get away from that stigma, because you would be surprised. Not too long ago, I was at a baby shower, and there was like 20-year-olds, my nephew, and 20, 23, very young gentlemen, and they were talking about Trump, and I was like, ooh, de aquí soy, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's all I had to know. So I worked myself in there, and I told them, like, okay, they were having a really good conversation, and I said, but did you vote? Right? Because we're having this side conversations, and we're having this, it was a really, really educational conversation, and my heart, was lit, because you don't see that nowadays. But the fact that even our younger generation is talking about how messed up everything is, that's our opportunity to go in there and say, because a lot of we just had our municipal elections back in May. We had a lot of good conservatives, a lot of good candidates that were all for like biblical values and protecting the children and parental rights, but our people didn't show up to the polls. And if we switch it over to the Democrats, those people they stick together, they show up, and it was disheartening, because like I said, that was our opportunity to win back a lot of the a lot of our values that we've lost. But I have this thing right now in my heart that's like, we have to spread awareness about the importance of voting, because I was in the ballot myself. I was running for city council myself. The Fort Worth City Council is, I would say, 9 out of 10 are pretty much liberal. And when we were going knocking on doors, a lot of the people were liking, what I was saying, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm all for, parental rights and da 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 da." We knocked on, I think it was about close to 2000, maybe 19, 18, somewhere around there.
Mhm.
My numbers tanked, because, we want change, but then we don't take action. So
Yeah.
this is why I like this organization, because we're like boots on the ground. We're about action. If we have to write letters, if we have to go, protest something, we'll go out and do it. And that's what's crucial right now. We are at a point where we have to go vote. We have to show up, because that's the only way we're going to bring in people that reflect our values.
Right.
So yeah.
It's the ground game. It's what you're doing there is the first step. You gotta talk to the community, and you gotta hope that they're get off their butts and they go vote. I mean, especially like I said, I mean, I lived in Texas, so I mean, with early voting, there's no excuse for why you can't go vote. I mean, it was like a mile away from my house. I was able to it was Collin County Community College. I was able to go
Uh-huh.
there and go vote.
Yeah.
So I don't understand that. To me, it's just telling people. I think now you guys may not like, you're Trump fans. You're gonna probably get annoyed with me right now. And I go, the biggest mistake Trump made, okay, was when he told people um, that the votes didn't matter because they were rigging it. Because that's how we lost Georgia. That's how we lost Georgia, because he was like, "Oh, it's rigged. They're gonna win anyway." And I'm like, "Look, listen. If you tell people that, you're gonna dishearten them, and then they're gonna go vote." And that's what happened. That's how
Well,
you
and I
get.
think with the perspective of that is like, my sis Audrey and I, we can really talk on this subject, and I'll let her speak on what we're really experiencing in New Mexico, because his
Please
words
do.
were absolutely correct, and we know that it happened in Georgia, it happened in Wisconsin, it happened in Michigan. She got
Yeah.
to travel with all of these Secretary of States, and oh, there's our CEO, guys. Hi, Tony.
Hey, Tony.
And
Hey,
so,
Tony, you're next. You're next. I gotta have you on too.
yeah, he's like I said, he's traveling to California now. We're gonna, and I'll be meeting him there Thursday. But I mean, we have to put everything into a very, we have to put it in a perspective of what happened in our country in 2020, what really happened. So, but I'll let Audrey share on what really the fight has been like on voter fraud over there, and what those words really meant, because until we fix that, then we're not going to have a country until we fix the election problem. And it's real. Go
Mhm.
ahead, sis.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's the thing. I work with the America Project, and I worked with a bunch of different people that have been working on figuring out what was happening with their elections. And just to kind of focus it here in New Mexico, they changed rules and laws prior to the election. And this is probably something that Trump was talking about, because it's like a chess game. They're putting all their players in place. They changed laws through the Emergency Orders Act, and they did it across the nation. They did it here in New Mexico to loosen the rules during that time. So we had absentee ballots that were just sent out to everybody. We had an opt-out type of letter that came from our Secretary of State to people saying, you send this letter back to opt out of receiving an absentee ballot. And this was during election time. People got junk mail like crazy and didn't see this letter. So they were sent out absentee ballots without requesting them. Then they'd go to go vote in person, and were turned away because they would tell them, well, we show here that you already voted, or you're signed up to do absentee ballot. And they're like, what? I didn't do that. So they confuse the masses with people. Another thing that they did was they put those unsecured boxes everywhere. And that's where we got the 2,000 mules. DeSauce and his crew, they were out there, and they were able to show all these people, they called them mules, 2,000 mules, going in and putting absentee ballots, filled in ballots that, were just being stuffed into these boxes that were supposed to have 24 surveillance, and they didn't have anything. They had them in places where people could just go at 2:00 in the morning, which they did, and they showed them to 23 different locations stuffing ballots. So we know that there was a lot of cheating going on, especially in the 2020 election. It's been happening. It's just they've gotten better at it. And in order for us to really work against this type of fraud and election fraud, we have to know what's going on. And I think one of the things is that with Trump, he gets intel before we even get intel. And there's a lot of people on his team that had been looking into all this stuff. I mean, look, for instance, they had a dossier that was created out of pure nothing, fabrication. And they use that. Google is one of the biggest enemies, and that's the internet. They did a lot of making sure to focus on Democrats and send them information, or independents that were not decided yet, to make sure that they would throw in something dirty about just the Republicans, so that way they would change over to vote for the Democrat. There's a lot of things that people do not know about what happened during the elections. Here, we have the NASS, which is a Secretary of
Did you see
State.
what happened in Connecticut? In Connecticut, the Democrat accused the other Democrat of election fraud, saying that they stuffed the ballots into a drop box.
Yeah.
And they
I
actually have
wouldn't doubt it.
video. They actually
I
have
wouldn't
video.
doubt it. And in New Mexico, we had drop-off ballot boxes, right, sis?
Yeah.
In some counties, the only way you could vote is you had to drive up. You roll your window down. Somebody was there to take your ballot, and then you had
hand
to
it to them.
away. So,
And I was going to say about the NASS, the National Association of Secretary of State, was given third-party access to Twitter, to Facebook, to all these different social medias, and they were able to block conservative views, saying that it was mis or disinformation. So you tell me there was no interference in the election. When people are not able to hear the other side, they're interfering in an election. So there you go. So I think he was rightfully worried about the election being stolen, because it was going to be stolen. There was no way he was going to win with all these things that they were using to take away the votes.
If you look at just the mail-in ballots, let's look at the mail-in ballots. They say that there was no fraud. Okay. In a normal election before 2020, the rejection rate of mail-in ballots was anywhere between 3 to 5%. Okay. In 2020, it was less than 1%. So you can't tell me that, nothing funny happened when all of a sudden in a normal year, which has a lot less mail-in ballots, there's a 3 to 5% rejection rate. And all of a sudden, 2020, when everybody's using the mail-in ballot, there's less than 1% chance. I mean, less than 1% rejection rate.
Some of our counties had more votes than registered voters. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, no, I thought I didn't.
So there was definitely fraud and stuff happening.
Yeah.
No, I'm in Pennsylvania. Same thing happened here. We had some counties that had more votes than there were residents in the county.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's how they did it in all of these states. Like I said, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Wisconsin, Michigan, and New Mexico, California. I mean, we know that New York and California are predominantly blue, right? So they didn't really feel, but you're going to tell me that Pennsylvania that turned bright red and voted for Trump, and he did such an amazing job that in the next election, it was going to go dark blue? I don't think so. They knew that they needed that state. And so, and that's what's happening in Texas. And this is why the fight here is so necessary. I mean,
in 30 years, we have bellwether counties that predict, and they've been correct on who is going to win the election, especially a presidential election. And it was the first time in 2020 that the bellwether county did not predict the election. They had given it to Trump. And it turned out it was Biden. So we know, I mean, in 30 years, they're correct. And then all of a sudden they're wrong. It's just, there's so many things like that. And we have to really figure out ways.
I want to show you guys this video because shout out to, she goes by Teaching Liberty. She showed this, she created this reel. I want to show you guys this. We're talking, you know, when it's funny, when it's, you know, Democrat versus Republican, you're not supposed to talk about it. You know, it's wrong. You know, no, we're lying. But here's a Democrat accusing another Democrat of election fraud. Check this out.
The candidate who lost is accusing the other candidate and current mayor of stuffing the ballot box. That's weird. I thought voter fraud was a myth, or only something that those wackadoodles over at Fox claim. This story is out of Bridgeport, Connecticut, and at the center of the controversy is this woman right here, Wanda Geter Pataki, who's described as a shaper and mover in the Democratic Party. Specifically, Geter Pataki is vice chair of the Bridgeport Democratic Town Committee, and she also works for the city in the government center. But wait, there's more. In 2019, following Ganim, the current mayor's victory, Geter Pataki was one of 3 names recommended for further investigation. And here Geter Pataki is on tape assuring the mayor of victory. However, thanks to leaked surveillance video of Wanda Geter Pataki's actions, we now have more than just circumstantial evidence of her crimes. Roll the tape.
Thanks.
Wow, at 5:42 in the morning.
I'm going to leave it there. I don't want to, but shout out to Teaching Liberty. She's on Instagram and she has her own show. But I wanted to, since we were talking about election fraud, I had to show that video because it's, you know, it's a Democrat accusing another Democrat, and there's video evidence. So
I don't know if you know, if you've heard of Clint Curtis. He was a Democrat that went in front of Congress, and this happened in 2002. He started doing this, and then he went again in 2010. And he's a computer programmer, and they had asked him to see if they would be able to. He could program something to steal votes from the machines, the counting machines. So he created this computer program to do that, went in front of Congress, showed them how easy it was to manipulate those machines. And yet they have still not done nothing to take those machines away, which are easily manipulated. I mean, he did
you had the HBO show. There was an HBO show about that.
Yeah.
Clint Curtis, look him up because he's in front of Congress and he's a Democrat and he knows that they can manipulate those machines. He saw them flipping votes, and it took 7 seconds to manipulate a machine with only a USB cord. You don't even need a modem.
Yeah. And this is why Trump wanted, you know, if we think about Trump's term, he warned us, right? So what he did is he put every single corrupt person, issue, everything, he put it in the spotlight in his 4 years to say, hey, here are the people where here's the problem. And the American people are the ones that, you know, we the people have to see it. We have to fight it. And that's what LUCA is about. You know, we're too busy fighting. Are the Republican Party, are they helping us? It's time. And what LUCA, what we're doing, we're conservatives. We are the conservative people of this country. We're not going to fight anymore about blue or red, if the Republicans have our back, if they don't, because nobody's going to save us but we the people. And so what we do is that we gather in our communities. Like Cassie just put on an amazing event for National Hispanic Heritage Month. And we have our pamphlets out there, and to bring people in and to talk about what it means to be in the action, what it means to get involved with an organization where, if Italia or in Christina, even Cassie and my sis Audrey, what they're getting ready to do in New Mexico, if they're saying, hey, we're going to show up at the school board and we need everybody to come show up, because when we show up in numbers, Italia, Audrey, everybody, even now Christina, that has gotten into the school boards have testimonies of what that does, and it makes a huge difference when we show up in mass amounts of numbers and the mass amount of people where it's the people, it's we, and we're done. And so that is what we're registering people. We're Italia, and what we're going to be doing in New Mexico, we're getting in the churches, you guys, right? We're getting in the churches because the churches need to, and this is what our faith director, and why that is going to be a huge role play in this organization, and to lead the way nationally. We need our churches. And just today in our North Texas thread, what we're discussing, and we have Carlos who's with us, and we're very happy to have him with us. But we have a church in Fort Worth, and what they are doing. Sis, do you want Italia, do you want to share more on what is happening there and what we're going to be doing?
Yeah, so it's a church that's clearly preaching not the truth, lies, and they're going out.
Is that the one where they did like their own like creed? Is that the church that did their own creed?
It's called Galileo Church. I'm not sure if they did that.
Oh, because there's another one in Dallas, in like North Dallas.
Oh, okay.
No, this is Fort Worth. Again, the city, the last standing conservative city that we're fighting for, and they're Galileo. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know which church you're talking about, and they called Cathedral of Hope. What you're talking about?
Something like
Dallas?
that, yeah.
Yeah, but that's in the we have a kind of like a gay community uptown.
Yeah, I know. I remember the gay community of Oak Lawn. There you go. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, well, they're spreading like wildfire, because this one is in Fort Worth and it's called Galileo Presbyterian Church. And if you hear the name, you're like, oh, Presbyterian, they're a Christian. But no, once you go into their website, it's all rainbows, all the rainbows. And we're planning a protest here coming soon, because they're not only lying to the community, but also they're hitting all the universities. And that's, the importance of just getting out there and counter protesting these type of churches and events, because, they're hitting all the new people that maybe are planning on voting for the first time, but they're already indoctrinating and saying, oh yeah, Jesus loves everybody. And, yes, Jesus does love everybody, but they're actually, sinning, and there's a way to go about it. There's, I have family members that say they're gay, but I don't hate them, but whenever I have the opportunity, I tell them, that is still a sin in God's eyes. I love you, but we have to speak the truth. We have to stop thinking about, oh, are they going to get offended? And that's usually what I tell them. You might get offended, but I love you more than that. So I'm going to tell you the truth. This is what they're planning. And I talk about the agenda that they have, and because these people are not playing. They are not playing. They're coming in hard, and we have to mobilize. We have to get in there and fight too. That's the only way to do it, because if we just sit down and watch, which is one of my pet peeves right now, I am very frustrated with the church, just because I think this is the time we need to leave the four walls and we need to get in there and fight. But it's crucial. We have to just spread, a sense of urgency that we can no longer just sit and watch. We have to get in there and join the battle. But yes, we do have a protest coming. I think it's set for October the 3rd. We're gonna
October
have
8th, I think.
Okay, October 8th, and we're working behind the scenes for that. But once we have all the information, we'll share it with you so that you can hopefully just, post it. Anything helps. But yes, that's what we're gonna try to do, and then just take, information of what the truth is, because it's clearly lacking. A lot of people don't want to speak it, but we're gonna show up and say, hey, listen, we love you, but this is what the Bible says, and go from there. But we are gonna fight against that.
Yeah.
Is it love the sin, hate the sin? I mean, love the sin, love the sinner, hate the
Hate
sin.
the sin.
Yeah.
And that's what we do, and so we've got several people, we've got coordinators, you guys. So remember, if you are ready to join in any part of Texas, so these are our lovely coordinators. Like I said, our educator directors are not here. Cassie does our events, and she is a rock star also. I mean, she put together the most amazing event in Keller, Texas. And you said how many? Sis, there were like about 1,000 people that showed up.
1,000 people showed up. It was very interesting because it mainly 90% Hispanics came, but when some of them would come by our little booth and they would look at our big banner, and some of them would start looking to see if anybody was watching, to see if they wanted to talk to us. And then we're like, no, come here. Let me just talk to you just for 1 minute. Give us 1 minute. And they did. I mean, some of them did. And another lady got kind of, she kept saying, oh, it says conservative. Y'all are crazy Trumpsters. And, we were telling her hey, just listen to us, take our pamphlet, you don't have to like what we're saying, but, at least look into us, and she took a pamphlet, but she walked away. So I'm hoping that,
Hey, that's a win.
change her mind for sure.
But that's what we're doing. We're getting in the communities. We are talking to our people, and we have registrars. So, that's what it takes, right? That we're getting face to face, and we're getting our hands dirty, and we're setting up in so many ways. So as you can see with how LUCA is, that's what our platform looks like. And this is what we're going to be doing across the country, and especially as we move west, where we're doing the events, we're getting into the schools, we're getting into the churches. And, I can't wait. We'll get our education directors on here, because what they're doing is phenomenal as well. And what does, the Constitution and the biblical meaning, because if you read the Bible, government is it's in and out of our Bible, right? So we have to make sure that we're honoring God in everything that we do. And another wonderful thing that LUCA is about, our website, which is just about done, we are going to be getting behind the God-fearing men and women who are running for office, and ensuring that we're getting the right people inside of our government at every level. And so we are going to have there's going to be a questionnaire that they're going to have to fill out. And it's also going to be, what do you believe, and what are going to be your policies? What are you going to be pushing for? And how does that stand next to our biblical beliefs, right? Because we are America. We were founded in Christianity. We are, and our money says, in God we trust. And so we're going to be standing behind, though they're going to be on like a graded level, right, on how they're going to perform. And we're going to put it on our website, so that when people have the opportunity in New Mexico, in Texas, where in the states that we are, they're going to be able to go and see where they rank, where these candidates rank, how they're going to vote. And if they're an incumbent, how did they vote in their term? Did they uphold what they said they were going to do? Did they fight for the things that they were going to fight? And so, that's another way that LUCA is getting in the fight, in the game, to make sure that we are voting in those godly men and women that are grassroots candidates, ready to make the change that we need in order to turn around the trajectory our country is facing right now.
I don't know who's in charge of your infrastructure, but I was just going to say that you guys may want to be careful on who you're using, let's say, for hosting your web services. Because let's say if you're using Amazon Web Services, remember what they did to Parler, and they nuked Parler when
right.
you
Well,
want
our
to look
CEO,
into, like,
Right. Our CEO had a newsletter, and they did that to him. So we are already very aware of that. So we are being,
I mean,
we're
that's why
being
I stream.
proactive on that.
I haven't been banned from YouTube, but I still stream both on YouTube and Rumble, just because the fact that if YouTube ever decides to, nuke my channel, I always have Rumble.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So that's the only reason I say that, because I know Rumble now does their own. The reason why Rumble can't be parlored is because the fact that Rumble has their own web services and their own
Right.
servers.
Yeah.
So
And we're going to be
Hmm.
on every platform. We're going to be on YouTube. We're going to have a Rumble. We're going to be everywhere. Our website, it's going to be, the channel to be able to get to every platform that we're on. And so as we start moving across states, we're going to have one just for New Mexico, just for every state. We have our email addresses so people want to get involved. They'll be able to contact us directly. They're going to be able to see the events that are happening in their states. And how they too can stand with LUCA, because it is time. And we knew when we started putting this organization together that the only way we're going to be able to fight and win this is that we, the people, again, we can't depend on any parties anymore. We can't depend on anybody. We have to depend on ourselves. Only we are going to save ourselves. So if you have conservative values, we love our Constitution. We love, our God, and we know where those issues are. Then
And our
come and
guns.
fight with us. Yes. And we're also locking arms with other organizations. So LUCA, we have a wonderful base of, they're from India. They're an organization. We locked arms with them, with the Urban Conservatives of America, with the Asians. We're just Americans, right? And as Latinos and Hispanics, we know that we are the majority in most of this country. So we want to lead the way, essentially get rid of the label, well, we're Hispanics. We just want to be Americans at some point. So we're locking arms with every type of organization out there, and things as such. And we want to be a powerful force with all of our fellow Americans that feel the way we do. And that's why we're here on your show. We're going to have our own syndicated national podcast show here real soon. And you know what, Carlito, we'd love to have you on as well. You've brought us on, and we're going to have some wonderful guests. I'd love to bring on just everyday Americans all the way up to congressmen, senators. We have a seat at the table, all the way up to the White House, to the President Trump. But that's the seat that we have. So we're going to be able to take what we're seeing in our communities, the way that we are fighting, and have a seat at the table where we know we can make real changes.
Tony said his flight's about to take off.
Have a safe flight, brother. I'll see you Thursday.
I'll show you. Yeah, I told him him and I should talk offline. So he said, "This is what he said." He said to give him his contact information.
You got it.
But I definitely, no. I think what you guys are doing. It's important. That's why I said we've been talking. You've been coming on my show for 2 years. So it's not nothing new. It's something that we're both passionate about basically waking up our people. I go at the very least. This is what I always say: if you can't get them to vote Republican, just get them not to just sell out their vote. Get them to not to be a free agent, to go, you know what? You got to earn my vote. You haven't done, the Democrats haven't done nothing for the last 50 years to earn your undying support. Same thing with black people, but that's a hardest shell to crack.
Yeah.
Yeah. And going back to the voting thing, I think it's also important for us to just talk about it, because a lot of the times we just, well, I don't, but some people just don't avoid that topic because there's a stigma, or they look at you like, oh yeah, it's not possible. And what used to be one of those, and I would say like, hey, how is it? Like, I want to know. So that's whenever, the elections just happened, and I was pretty sure something was going on. So that's when I started, doing research and just decided to become a precinct chair. And that's going to be key, because right now a lot of the precinct chairs are taking a stand. But not only that, they're also required to work the elections. And for the longest part, a lot of the poll sites were taken. Were I mean I'm outside, so I'm gonna whisper. And I'm just kidding. The Democrats took over.
They
They're gonna come
did.
in
No, you're right.
and for the first time, I think it was this municipal elections and the previous to that, it was the first time where we had here in the Tarrant County a Democrat and a Republican, like for the first time in like many years. So, people are waking up, people are taking action. We just have to keep pushing it. And that's another way to get involved. If you want to get involved and make a difference, become a precinct chair. And, not at our last EC meeting, executive committee meeting, there was resolutions presented to censure Dade Phelan, the crazy House chair, and other candidates that are not standing up for our conservative values. So, good things are happening, but it's gonna take more. we need everybody's help to bring change. So I just, oh, and sorry, another thing that I wanted to mention real quick. Let them know, because that's what I did. Like, once I worked the elections, you literally go to through the training, and the first thing that we set up everything. I used to think like, oh, they come and set it up for the poll workers. No, I was a judge at the past elections, and the first thing that you need to do to set up the station, guess what it is? First step,
To set up the
they give
election.
they give you a little box, and that's like the internet, like I guess like the Wi-Fi thing. And I started to see, and I'm like, interesting. People here say that elections can't be bought or like
Or
stolen. But the
stolen.
Or they're
first thing that
connected
you
to the
do,
internet.
Yeah. Or connected to
exactly.
the internet. Yeah.
The first thing that we had to do, I was holding that little machine in my hands, and I'm like, wow. And you connect it to the internet, and then you go about, the other stuff. But I had to live it. And when I tell my story, people believe it, because it hits different when you just say, oh, yeah, there's a video. But when you say, no, I was there, I was the one that set up that machine. And let me tell you, it's hooked up to the internet. And let me also tell you that I was able to connect on my phone. We weren't supposed to, but I was being nosy. That was my first round. And I was
See, I'm
testing.
glad you were.
I was testing all my, quote, air quotes, conspiracy theories, and all of them were true. And so when you tell people, no, I did it, I connected that little machine. And the first thing that you need to do when you go to the training is connect to the internet. So, it just hits different when you share your experience, and people start listening. They're like, really? I'm like, yeah, we need poll watchers for next election. Do you want me to sign you up? And that's how you start
That's what
building.
we do.
Because we need you. Like, we need extra eyes. We need extra eyes. And the funny thing about it is that these people, the Democrats, they were like, who is she? Because I was like evading their space. And it was so funny because they were making sure they were doing crossing their T's, dotting their I's. And the whole time I'm thinking, is this how you work? Or are you doing this because now you have, an extra set of eyes watching over you?
Yeah.
And it was just a funny experience, but it was a learning experience as well. And yeah, like, yes, they can definitely 100% go in there and hack the machine and steal votes. So there's that.
Yeah.
Also, getting people to not register, but to become registers to
Yes,
register
the
people
BDRs.
to vote.
Mhm.
That's another thing that's really important.
And
Yeah, you
you
gotta
know,
get-
and a lot of
Mhm.
people, to show up at a grocery store, to show up at every
Mhm.
event, to everything that we need to do to talk to people. That's what it takes. We can't depend on the Republican Party getting the message out. We can't depend on anybody getting the message out. We, the people,
No.
have to get the message out ourselves. And so that is what LUCA is about. It is about the action. Again, it's Latinos for Conservative Action. And so,
Not talk.
yeah. We're not just online. I mean, do we share funny memes? Absolutely. I'm one of the
Yeah.
I love sharing. We all do. I mean, we have to,
Yes. Who doesn't?
we do, but we also get out and we get our hands dirty and we are doing the work. And we have the resources, we have the support. And because we have a seat at every table, at every level, at that point, then, we have results. Like LUCA just wrote, Italia put together and we're in our chats, and she's like, all right, guys, here is what's happening with all of these bills that were just passed. And I want to write a letter to all of the Democrat liberal school district, to the boards and to the superintendents. And we did, right, sis? I mean, everybody got involved and we got all the email addresses to all of them. I was a little crazy lady for one day because I was the one sending out the emails, but that's okay. And we got 2 responses out of how many do you think there were, sis? Like 100, like
I
all the
would say,
districts, like 100. And
Mhm.
many of them were very like, wow, who are you guys? Let's talk more, and appreciated the work. But that's what the action is. I mean, we're hitting everything. We're hitting, especially in our schools, because that's what they're after the most. But like I said, Fort Worth and down the North Texas, they're just clawing.
Well, they
And
want to
so
separate the parents from the children. That's what it is.
absolutely. And so I can't tell you how excited New Mexico is on board. My sister is the executive director over New Mexico. Like I said, I haven't shared yet, but we had some wonderful conversations, strong patriots that came to the meeting. Tony and I got up super early. We left at 5 a.m. to drive to Albuquerque, and I'll share it. But I got to march with my people downtown in the streets. We marched about impeaching MLG, about how we will not allow for her to take our Second Amendment away. It was an amazing day. It was so patriotic, the people coming together. And so I'll share all that soon, but that's what it's about, right? And so this team that she's coordinating and putting together, we have a trafficking issue, and we're bringing on a lady who was trafficked for 13 years. She's from the Navajo Nation. We have 21 Native American tribes. And so what she does, she has her own ministry. And so she takes in and she helps women, and that's how she makes money. She bakes. But she's helping a lot of these young girls and even boys. And she runs to the Navajo Nations into Gallup, where they're trafficking and stealing these children. And so you guys, every state is going to be unique. And New Mexico, that's a big part of our problem. And again, we're already living in socialism there. So there's going to be different multitudes of what that fight looks like. But it's at the end of the day, it's the same. Is the community, the people coming together, standing together, showing that we are the 4th branch of government that has been ignored for far too long. And we're not going to be ignored anymore. We're going to be in your face, and we're going to be demanding that we take our power back, and that you're going to be a civil servant. You're not going to be a celebrity of a politician anymore. So we're coming in strong, and that's what we're doing.
Yay!
Awesome work. I'm like,
Preach. Mic drop.
like I said, when she said she was building it, I knew it was gonna. I always knew it was gonna come to fruition, because that's how I told her. Once you finish with it, once you're happy with where it's at, let's get back on and talk about it.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's happening. It's happening.
I really appreciate it. We all do.
Thank you.
Thanks
You
for
ladies
having
have
us.
Any last words for everyone?
Those were my last words.
Yeah, I know. I think you spoke enough for everybody, but I know Cassie hasn't spoken much. Christina, I don't know.
Yeah,
if
she
her phone
lost
died or
signal. She
something.
messaged me.
Oh, okay. Because I messaged her to see if she was okay.
Yeah. Cassie, do you have anything, babe?
I just don't be afraid to learn more. I mean, I learned that at this last event. Just if you think they're gonna give you kickback, just keep trying to reel them in and educate them on what our values really are, and why you have to question, like, what Democrat, like, what are their values? What do you like about them? Well, that doesn't align with your values, so why are you still voting for that Democrat?
Lots of education. Yeah, she's right.
Which is why we're kind of right now catering to, well, not catering, but I don't know what the right word to use would be, but we're basically just protecting the kids, because anybody can resonate with children. Everybody has children. And when you tell them and you show them, this is what they're telling your kids at school. Right now, I was late because I had left another Zoom meeting because Fort Worth was adopted. They adopted a health curriculum last year where they were going to remove the words male and female. So they were only going to say, oh, this is a body with a penis or a body with a vagina. But their agenda was to confuse the kids, right? They're all about the non-binary and, all this other stuff, like the 72 genders that they think that exist. So that's we were able to, I mean, we won it last year. We showed up, we spoke against it, we went to churches, we did community events, but now they're trying to sneak it in again. So they had a meeting earlier today, and we have to be on taps. Like, we have to just keep an eye on them. But some of us were online, some of us were, they were there in person, but they saw us. They and that's what they need to see. Oh, they're watching. They're here, and we need to. They're here. They're watching because we're ready. We have to stand up for our kids and going back to what Cassie said, that's usually a really good way to open up to other people and get them involved, because a lot of these people don't know what's going on, and that's a really good way to start the conversation and say, hey, did you know that Fort Worth ISD adopted this correct? And they're like, what? And when everybody, especially Latinos, you touch our kids, oh, you better you better run, because
Yeah,
we do not mess with our
I
kids.
agree.
And that has been an easy way for us to just spread what we're doing and how people can get involved, because and we have proof, it's not like we're just telling them a fairy tale. Like, this is what happened, this is a book. We spoke a few board meetings ago about the nasty
There it
list that they
goes.
had. It was so uncomfortable for me because I actually read like a good paragraph of it, and there was F words, and it was like, oh my, I was just praying, please stop me now, because
I
it took them
know.
like a good a few seconds for them to realize, oh my gosh, like, she's reading the actual book. And then they were like, yeah, you can't read that. And I'm like, so then why are the kids reading it? So those videos, I have a little folder on my phone and say, look, this is what your kids are reading. And if you don't stand up for them now, nobody else is going to. There's the times where, like, we thought dropping them at school, that was like their safe place. Nope. It's not safe anymore. You have to be in the way, and you have to fight for them, because nobody else is going to do it.
Exactly. And we lost Audrey. I don't know if her phone died or what.
But
Mhm.
well, we hit the hour mark already. That was quick, wasn't it?
It was.
Yes. Thanks for having us again.
Yes, thank
Oh,
you.
you're welcome. I love to have these conversations. It's something where, it's one of the reasons why I started the channel was
Yeah.
to fight against the radical left, was because the fact that, I got tired of my friends telling me, we would talk, and especially my white friends, they'd be like, oh, I wish I could say that, because, if I say that, then I'm racist. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm like, I had someone tell me I'm passing because I'm light skinned, and it's like, do you not see me in the summer? You may see me in December. I may look white, but in come August and July, I'm like, no, you can't. You can't confuse me in that time of year. But I don't
That's
care.
funny.
You have to, you have to care for them to call you racist, and actually it hurt, because it's like, I know I'm not. I know my best friend's a black Puerto Rican lesbian. So it's triple whammy, where it's like, you could accuse me of racism, homophobia, whatever you want. I don't care. It's
Yeah,
Yeah.
call
it's
me
a time for
homophobic and
boldness.
I hung up.
We have to be bold Americans in every way. And
Mhm.
so,
Yeah.
when New Mexico and I went to share a story, it's like, we feel like there is a rise, and not anything to our men, but we see a rise of our women, right? Of our godly women. I mean, especially, I think it's because the mama bears have been enacted. I mean, they've been activated, and we are rising because they are coming after our babies. And so we have the mama bears and we have the protective papas. And so, but we are really, there's a shift and a shake in the women. We are really coming out strong in this fight, and we're being bold and we're being loud. And as Latino moms, well, we bring our chanclas whenever we show up to anything, and it's not pretty.
Mhm.
It is not pretty.
Okay.
So we get pretty feisty, And so, right now we are at a very pivotal moment where we can make a substantial change in this country for our children, for this next generation. We have to protect them
No,
at
I
all
think
costs.
that's why it's very important. As you moms, like you said, the scariest thing when it comes to, like, if you see like cubs walk, like I live in the country, so if I see like two cubs, where's the mama bear?
Where's the mama bear?
Because I know they're not there by themselves, and you
Yeah.
don't want to mess with the cubs, because come that mama bear is gonna come and yeah.
It's gonna tear you
So
up.
yep.
Better
So you
run.
gotta, no, but it's good that hopefully we get the part two with the men, because um,
Oh yeah,
it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting conversation where with the men, because um, I don't know. I'm so used to having women on my show, because women tend to be more agreeable than men are. It's much easier, it's funny because people always ask me, why do you always have women on your show? Because they say yes.
Because we
Wrong
got a lot to
answer.
say. We have a lot to
The
say.
right answer. The right answer is because they're smart. No, just kidding.
Yeah,
Because they're wise.
that too. That too.
But we have
But
a
it's like
great
it's
group
just
of men. We have the strong, masculine, God-fearing men on our team. So, within our familia, we're familia. So I know it's going to be
well. So it's like I was saying,
wonderful show.
hopefully, when I go out there next year, I know you're in Lubbock, but maybe you'll come down to Dallas when I'm in Dallas, and we can all meet up. Maybe we'll
Yeah.
go to like uh, we'll go to Hutchins. That's where I love to go. I don't know if you guys
That's
ever
that
been to.
barbecue place.
That's the barbecue place.
Yeah,
Either we'll
it's
go to
good.
Hutchins or we'll go to Babes. I love Babes too.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Babes?
Babes is good. I had it yesterday.
Oh, you had it yesterday. Ah,
That's
man, that used to be our two spots. Was Hutchins and Babes. Those were my
Good.
sister. One time, quick story before we go. My sister, when she came to visit me in McKinney, I picked her up at the airport while my wife went to Hutchins to make the line. So like that one, she came out of the airport. She didn't stop to drop her bags. She went straight to Hutchins for barbecue.
That, it's the best.
wow.
It is the best. I don't blame them. It's the best.
Hutchins, I will tell you, if you've never, wait, you're in Keller and you're in Fort Worth. So if you've never
I'll
been to
drive.
Hutchins, it's
She's like,
worth the
I'll
drive.
drive. It's
I'll
worth the
drive for
drive.
barbecue.
It
is.
is
It's
the
worth
best
it.
barbecue in DFW, hands down,
It is. It is. I have to
Okay.
agree.
hands down.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm ready. Tell me when.
Well, we'll be there sometime in the summer. I don't know exactly when, but I'll let you ladies know, and then we go all meet up, and
Sounds great.
be nice to
Awesome.
meet you.
Ah,
Meet you guys in person. I'll be there with the kids and everything. So we do a
Awesome.
family. Actually, Babes might be the more family friendly. We could let them do the chicken dance and everything. So, and social media, websites. What do you want to plug for Luca, for yourself?
Yeah, you'll find us. You're going to find us on Facebook, on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We have our YouTube. We will have Rumble. I mean, we're all over. Our website will be coming out soon, so we are going to be plugging that in everywhere. We're going to be working hard to promote our website coming out very soon. Sign up. Get the email alerts. Put your email in there. Stay in touch with us. So that way what's coming up soon, and stand with us. And when we're going to be coming to your state, Texans, you guys especially, get a hold of us, message us, and especially once our website going, because again, Texas goes, there goes the nation. So we need a lot of strong
Keep
patriots to stand
Texas
with us.
red.
Yeah.
Keep Texas red.
Yeah, for sure.
amen.
Yes.
Thank you, amigo. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, have a good night, ladies. Everyone, good night, and hope next week is gonna be a different time. Next week's gonna be 7 o'clock on my channel. I'm having a friend of mine from TikTok. It's someone I know personally. He has a big following on TikTok. He likes to talk politics, and I love to talk politics. He's a
Yeah.
Cubano, so he knows stuff about communism and socialism. He has first-hand accounts from his family members who left Cuba. And God said, "Let there be light."
Let there be
Time
light.
for the end of the show.
My son's
So,
laughing at me. He's like, no. He loves mofongo, by the way.
Oh,
Oh, man.
I wish I could tell you
Oh,
the only place I know in DFW where you could get mofongo is either the Latin Pig,
the Latin pin.
the Latin Pig,
Write
no
it
pig,
down.
P-I-G,
The Latin pig.
P-I-G, the
Oh,
Latin
pig.
Pig. There's
Okay.
they have a couple locations, if I'm not mistaken. They had one in Plano, and there's also one in the Colony.
Oh, it
Oh,
By
this
closed.
one.
It
by
closed
where?
down already.
Oh, they closed that one down.
Already, yeah.
Oh, well, like I said, it's been 4 or 5 years. If not, there is the Adobo Puerto Rican Cafe in
Adobo.
it's in not Arlington. Arlington, where's the old Cowboy Stadium?
Arlington.
Well, no, the old one's
Oh,
in
they're-
Irving. Irving.
No, they're in
Oh,
Irving.
Irving.
Yeah, so it's in Irving, not Arlington.
Let's talk
It's
to
in
that
Irving.
diehard Dallas Cowboy
Oh.
fan here.
I'm
Yeah.
like, whoa.
Yeah, so
forgot
that's
about
the
that.
only place I know. There's another place out in oh, you know what? Hold up. Let me do that. Let's end the stream real quick and then we'll talk offline.
Okay.
I'll tell you that stuff.
Okay.
I'm just thinking, I'm like, it's still on. We're still on. Good night, everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed the show.
Bye.
Please
We love
follow
food. Sorry.
Luca. They're on Instagram. That's where you can finally, get most of their stuff right now. Instagram, Facebook,
Facebook,
and
TikTok.
just keep an alert and TikTok. I may sign up for TikTok. I haven't yet, but I don't know yet. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe my friend next week who's on TikTok, maybe he'll convince me.
Okay.
So, good
I'll
night,
be on.
everyone. We'll keep this offline real quick. Have a good
All
night,
right.
everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thanks